Retire with Confidence podcast. The theme of today is don't get hurt. That statement applies across all types of things in retirement. It can apply to both health and to finance and to many other things, but those are the two that we're going to talk about primarily, the health aspect and the finance aspect. I know for myself personally, when I talk about don't getting hurt, my fitness journey has changed over the years as I have gotten older. It used to be about, how fast can I run, or how high can I jump, or how much can I lift, and all those things are good. Those are now secondary goals. When I do any type of exercise, primary goal number one is don't get hurt. Everything else is secondary. Because if you have any serious injury, it can set back everything else that you are trying to do and accomplish and maintain physically. When you're younger, you can recover a little bit faster from injuries. Doesn't mean it doesn't harm you, but you can bounce back a little faster. Nowadays, not so much. And especially if you get to the age of retirement for most of us, having some sort of a major injury can be a really, really serious setback. There's all sorts of studies that talk about, having, injured knees or injured hips or backs. So you take your pick, pick your body part. If you have a major injury, especially something requiring surgery, that can really set you back physically for a long time. Doesn't mean that it's all over for you. You can still bounce back. It won't be as easy. It's going to take a lot more work to rebuild what you already had after that or prior to that major injury. So from a health perspective, it's fairly obvious to say, don't hurt yourself exercising. However, we still need to exercise. It's really important to keep up both cardiovascularly and just muscle skeleton. All that just needs to be maintained over time. So it's not like we can just stop exercising and that solves our problem for not getting hurt. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Actually, the less you exercise, the less strength you have, the more likely you are to get hurt. So we still need to exercise and build that strength and keep ourselves in good shape, but do so with that focus on injury prevention and not getting hurt. So that's really the health aspect. But a lot of that same thinking and same philosophy and ways to handle yourself in retirement also apply to finance and retirement planning. Because when we think about finance and especially investments, same thing goes. Don't get hurt. You've done a great job building your wealth over time to where you can finally retire, and you've got a good plan. If you don't have a good plan, let's fix that. But you've got a good plan, and you just need to execute on that. And the most important piece is don't get hurt. Now, it doesn't mean you can't have a minor injury in there. Just like in the exercise world, you're going to have minor injuries, and that's not good, but it's okay. You can get around those, you can work on those, you can fix them, and get back to the normal world. Same thing goes on investments. You can have some minor setbacks. The market could drop, 10%. That's not going to ruin your retirement because the market bounces back after that. If we have a 2008 or 2009, that could be more problematic if you're not set up properly. But it's important to note that just like we talked about in health and exercise, we still have to stay active in terms of exercising. That correlates over to the investment side to say we still need to invest for growth. Most people cannot just tuck their money into some CDs and have that be enough income for them to retire. Some can, that's great. Most people, that's not going to work. You still need to have some growth and be able to effectively be okay with some level of risk of minor, smaller losses that you can recover from when the market bounces back. But we're trying to avoid the big stuff and also set up the investments and all the planning so that when the big stuff happens, not if, when the big stuff happens, we are still set up to withstand that and bounce back from that and be successful in retirement. So when we're looking at planning and investments, that's where we go back to what we talk about so often, which is setting up income for at least the next 5 years. So we put it in cash and individual bonds that mature over those 5 years, so that no matter what the stock market does with all its crazy ups and downs and all over the places, you know that you have this income coming in over that at least 5 year period. So I mentioned 2008, 2009 previously. Even when that happened, under this structure, you'd still have that income coming in, and you gave the market 5 years to bounce back, which is actually roughly the time it took for the S&P 500 to bounce back to where it was before the big drop in 2008, 2009. So with this structure in place, according to your plan, that 2008, 2009 would have equated to a big injury, but we were able to maintain and bounce back over time because of everything else that we had structured. We had given ourselves the safety net of income, but also maintained our growth that allowed everything to bounce back. So that's the key message here today. Both physically, don't hurt yourself, but keep exercising, keep getting stronger. You have to take a little bit of risk that you will have some injuries, especially some small ones along the way, but you have to keep moving, keep getting stronger. That equates also to the finance side. We have to still have that growth for the longer term, knowing that that's going to help us tremendously in retirement. But we also need to structure this so that way, if something bad does happen, which we're still trying to avoid, but if something does bad happen, we can still move on just fine, knowing that we have income coming in for at least 5 years. Some people might want to say 6, 7, that's fine, but at least 5 years, we have that income coming in so you know it's there, rock solid, guaranteed. We can sleep at night knowing that we're giving the rest of our investments time to bounce back and grow. So the key statement today, don't hurt yourself, whether it's physically or with investments. We need growth in both areas, but don't do anything crazy. Focus first on don't hurt yourself, but then also keep in mind some of the other goals that you have, both physically and financially, and get after it. Just do so in a safe and controlled and planned manner.